Welcome to Buy Wholesale Cabinets. Today we're going to be putting together a BLS 36. It is our base Lazy Susan. You're going to have two tiers, you're going to have two turntables, and we're going to get to making this cabinet. Right here we have our 1¼ inch screws. That's going to connect the deck to the back. Right here we have our 1/2 inch screws, and those are going to go through the hinge to our door itself. These are the wall Lazy Susan hinges. You're going to find this on our base Lazy Susan as well. Brackets, these are going to go into the upper corners. What we have in front of us are the tools required to assemble our cabinets. We have our drill. We also have our staple gun. It's going to consist of 3/4 inch staples. We also have our brad nailer. It's going to be 1¼ inch brad nails. We also have the box cutter, so that way you can open up your boxes. And we also have wood glue. This wood glue is very important. It helps for the rigidity of the cabinets, and you're going to place this inside the dado of each cabinet. So once you start building this cabinet together, our pro tip is to go ahead and shoot off the two sides with the brad nailer before you screw them. Now that that's shot off, we could go ahead and place our screws. Now that we have that side together, we're going to go ahead and take our other side and repeat that same process. So now, as you can see, we have our two sides facing each other, and we're going to adjust that to get our first base in for the BLS 36. Right now, Mark is being careful to set this into place, so that way it lands onto the shelf itself. Now, it does help to have the cabinet sides kind of closer together, so that way as you put in the base, it pushes against it, so that way it's up tight against there before we go to screw the base in. So right now you're going to see Mark pressing down on there, so that way all the gaps are closed together when he goes to screw the sides into the bottom base. And now he's going to repeat the same process on the other side. Now Mark is grabbing the other shelf, and he's going to set that in place and repeat the same process. He's going to make sure everything sits flush before he places the screws. So another pro tip on when building the BLS 36, you can see Mark leaving out the two screws on each side on the very back. This is going to help alleviate any sort of unneeded pressure while sliding in the back panel. Once you get the back panel in, you could go ahead and throw in your extra screws, and you are done in the back. Now we're moving to the front of the cabinet, and we're going to finish off placing our screws into the BLS 36. And as you can see on the front of the cabinet, we're going to leave out the two screws on each side next to where the face frame is going to go. So that right there is going to be the same concept for the backer. We're leaving those screws out, so that way we are able to have a little bit of play when we go to put on the door frame. Once we get the door frame on in place, we could go ahead and finish off those last 4 screws in the front. Mark has now grabbed the back brace, and he is screwing that in for the back to finish off the back. So right now, after the back gusset has been installed on top, Mark is laying the product down on its back, and we are getting ready to install the face frame. So right now, you're going to see Mark grab both sides of the face frame, and he's going to put those together. These need to be placed together with the 1¼ inch screws before it is placed on the actual box itself. Now Mark is going to go ahead and put some wood glue into the dado before placing it onto the box. As you can see, you're going to have to put a little bit of pressure on there to pop it into place. So now that we have our face frame on, Mark's going to actually shoot the BLS from the outside corner at an angle towards the side of the panel. Now once we are done shooting off the face frame, we're going to put our toe kick together. We're using our 1 1/4 screws with the holes that are already piloted. And you want to make sure that you got both colors facing the same side. So now we're going to return to the top portion of our BLS 36, and Mark's going to finish off with the face frame by putting in the last screw from the back to the tail end. Then once he is done there, we're going to take our corner brackets and we're going to place those. You're going to see at the tail end, he's going to start off with that one first and then move on to the rest. Now that we have our box built, we're going to go ahead and assemble our doors using the hinges provided in the box. So we're going to start off with the hinges on each door using the 1/2 inch screws. So as you can see, Mark is loosening up the adjustments before install. If you do not do this, it'll bind up on you. As you can see, Mark picked up the one side of the cabinet to place it on edge to the other. This will line up your holes. Now our doors are ready to install onto the cabinet. We have our hinges facing towards us, and we're going to start with the top hinge. And from there, you want to make sure that the door doesn't completely just sag on its own, so you're not creating damage. And place the secondary screw into the door frame. Now you can adjust your doors. You want to make sure you have an even spread between each side of the door. Once you have that installed, next you'll take your rubber stops and place them on the edge of each door. Now you have a completed BLS 36. And that concludes our build for the base Lazy Susan.